into the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead show here on a New Year's Eve morning. We're in a different location. We're in a different time slot from our normal place. And we have the dear Goon joining us, I believe from the in-laws, right? This morning, as we get you ready for Penn State and Boise State. Oh, do I have your audio? I don't. That's my fault. Hang on. Oops. Oh, I didn't want to remove you. I'm trying to get.
How's that sound now, buddy?
Now we're sounding like the dear Goon is ready to go. Sorry, we didn't hear your answer. You're at your in-laws, is that right?
Yep. Had a couple rainy days here to get rid of the snow. Getting ready for the new snowstorm tomorrow.
Good Christmas for you?
Yeah, fantastic. Always.
Yeah.
It's always good to be around family. How about you?
Yep, we had a very good one as well. Just got some things done. It was not exactly what I was expecting. My wife is in the process of moving offices. And so we spent a lot of time just getting furniture out of the old office over to her new office. Man, it's a really neat space though that she has, and the whole time I'm moving, Goon, I'm kind of thinking about the event we go to in Florida with Valerie's house down there, and this setup it puts me in mind of that. There's just a lot of neat things that she's doing with the space for her Jan and Marie Foundation. But anyway, it was awesome. Good holiday the whole way around.
How was Nashville? Hold on, how was Nashville?
Yeah, Nashville. So this was the thing. It was it was a business trip. So I did not spend a lot of time. I saw enough that I'm like, ooh, I need to get back here. Did go downtown to the Broadway area and the middle of everything there on Saturday to watch Penn State football and then the Steelers game. So I took in some of the sights and sounds, saw some of the establishments. Man, there's just a lot of characters, a lot of fun. But honestly, the live music, and everybody told me about it, and New Orleans is much the same way. And I have been to New Orleans, a couple of times, but once just able to kind of take in everything for a week. And the similarity is it is just fun. There's a vibrancy that comes with being in a location where there is live music everywhere. When you go in one place or out of another, it is amazing the energy you get from just live music. And again, there's just live music seemingly everywhere you go. You go in one place, out the other, and you're hearing live music everywhere. It's fun.
And it's pretty good damn music too at that. I mean, you're sitting there.
That is for sure.
I remember being there on a Wednesday afternoon, and I'm like, dude, you're the Wednesday afternoon guitarist at Whiskey Ben. And I was like, dude, you're really good. And he goes, yeah, there's a lot of good people down here. I mean, I both like Chris Stapleton. I mean, he was on the Broadway for 10 to 15 years before he got discovered.
Yeah, no, it is. It's amazing. So, yep, good time. Feels like it's been forever since we did our show, and we'll be back in our normal time slot at our normal location on Thursday. But this morning, again, to accommodate Pennsylvania Sports Network's coverage leading up to the Penn State game, again, Joe Lednoski will go noon to 3. Normally he's noon to 2, and Jed Donahue will go 3 to 6. He's normally 4 to 6, so they are covering that normal 2 to 4 slot that we would take this afternoon. And I think we're both okay with it, Goon, because it kind of frees us up this afternoon. I'll actually be listening to those guys in the background, but we have some things as a family we're going to look to get done and ready, and then we have some folks coming over for the game and for New Year's Eve this evening. So it works out pretty good. But again, we'll be back in our normal time slot and back at Quaker Steak and Lube. Huge thank you to Quaker Steak and Lube. They have been with us, our home for this show from the beginning. And we are very, very appreciative. Quaker Steak and Lube, by the way, a great place to watch all of these bowl games, all of the NFL playoff action, lots of NHL games today, including the Winter Classic at Wrigley Field. Again, Quaker Steak and Lube, great place because they have obviously all of those TVs. You can watch the sports, but also, man, the menu now, Goon, it's through the roof. I mean, and everything I've had, and I haven't had everything yet, but I'm working my way through that menu. Everything I've had, honest to Pete, it is delicious. Great stuff. And we keep talking about it, Goon, just the best doggone staff around. That you are not going to find better servers, better trained servers than what you have at Quaker Steak and Lube. And as you well know, you can talk more about that. But it really is kind of that old school neighborhood bar feel where you go in and if people don't know you, it's your first time, they're going to welcome you in. You're going to make you feel like you're part of the family. But there are a lot of people there that it's like the old traditional neighborhood bar where you go in and everybody's, hey! And it's just a great place to go and catch up and in a very friendly atmosphere. Again, enjoy some great food and beverage.
Coldest beer in town by far.
And
that's
got
big
that
for me.
Going for him. I know that it is. All right, so Penn State, Boise State tonight, Goon. It's one of those things, and it is driving me crazy. Some of the national narrative after the first round about, well, this is why you can't have the Indianas or the SMUs in there, as if, did you watch the Tennessee-Ohio State game? Because I'm listening to the, Kirk Herbstreit, and I like Herbstreit, and everybody's allowed to have their opinion, obviously. But Herbstreit's like, well, you're watching the Indiana game, and they didn't belong on the same field with Notre Dame, and it's nothing against Indiana. Okay, well, did you watch the Tennessee game? Did that team look like it belonged on the field with Ohio State that night? No, it didn't. That game was over in like 5 minutes. Tennessee was awful in that game. So stop with we've got to get more SEC teams in. No, the first round matchups, and it happens in the NFL playoffs. If you go to an expanded playoff format, yes, do I think the Steelers are as good as the Bills? No, but they're both playoff teams. If the Bills and the Steelers meet, do I think I know what's going to happen and I'm not going to like it? Yeah. Well, so what? That's what happens when you have a high seed against a lower seed. The idea that we would have had nothing but compelling games if Alabama and Ole Miss got in there. I cannot tell you how much I am rooting for Michigan, Goon, and that hurts me deep to the core. I am so much hoping Michigan beats Alabama later today, just so that because give me a break. Alabama was not going to go in there and be any more competitive at Beaver Stadium, or not much more competitive than SMU. And again, turnovers in the SMU game, it was crazy. Well, that happens. That happens to Alabama. It happens to SMU. That isn't a brand name or a conference you're from. It's just, there were some poor decisions and cold weather against a really good defense. That stuff happens, and it doesn't matter if it's Alabama or Georgia or SMU or Indiana. Stop with the nonsense that, oh, no, those teams just don't belong in the same field. Alabama didn't belong in the same field with freaking Oklahoma. Are you kidding me? And you want Alabama in there in the top 12.
And Vanderbilt.
Yes, ridiculous.
I mean, it was funny because if you watch the chronological order of Lane Kiffin's comments, it started against Indiana versus Notre Dame, then us versus SMU, and he's just ranting and raving how good the SEC is and all this. And then Tennessee goes out there and just lays an absolute egg, and it's just like, hey, this is the team that you guys lost to, so I have no idea why you're even talking. And I get it. You've been harping on that a while, and that is it's like it's apples and oranges comparing the Vanderbilt. The Alabamas and then the SMU and the Indianas, but they're just doing the best with what was given to them. As in the selection committee. And I'm just happy we have a playoff.
Yes, amen. And here's another thing, Goon, is what, to me, you need to look at the complete resume. And the Paul Feinbaums of the world want to focus on the wins. And did Alabama have a really good win over Georgia? Sure. But they never bring up the losses. Yes, Penn State lost the two biggest games it had this season. You know what else it did? Every time it faced a team that it was favored against, it went out and won the game. Alabama didn't do that. Ole Miss didn't do that. Very few teams do that. It is hard to win all of the games that you're, quote unquote, supposed to win. And so, yes, you should get credit for good wins, but you also need to get dinged for bad losses. And Alabama had a couple of bad losses. Ole Miss had a couple of bad losses. Penn State didn't have bad losses. Indiana didn't have bad losses. SMU didn't have bad losses. Sorry, that matters too. You can't just they keep wanting to take just one part of the equation and not look at the big picture. And I just think big picture, I still think the committee got it right. And I am not at all convinced that an Alabama or an Ole Miss would have been any more competitive than Indiana or SMU were in those respective games. So that stuff just drives me crazy. And listen, I think SMU was a good team. I think they played a poor game at a bad time. And I think the weather had something to do with that. I think the crowd at Beaver Stadium had something to do with that. And I think the fact that Penn State's defense is pretty doggone tough had a little something to do with that as well.
Jeffrey, I know you were in Nashville, but I do have to go back to that SMU game. Easily the most surreal experience I've had at Beaver Stadium ever. It was just amazing. Everything about it was just everything I've been dreaming of for 2.5 years came true 2 weeks ago, and that was having a Southern team having to come north and then having them having to play in our weather. And our weather showed up. But the best part about it is our fans showed up too. I mean, that was a real worry going into that game that you and I had.
It was.
It's not going to look good, if we're complaining about having a home playoff game and 75,000 people show up. Yeah, that place was loud and proud and ruckus, and it was crazy. And I'm telling you, the Rojas interception, or maybe even I think it was the Rojas, the second interception return for a touchdown, may have been one of the louder moments I've heard in Beaver Stadium history.
It came across impressively on TV. I will say that. It was, it was a special moment in Penn State football history. There's no
everything about it. I get there at 6 o'clock in the morning and there's sheets of ice just everywhere, and we had the tents, we had the heaters, we had like 4 different heaters going. I mean, we were fine. We had it great, but I'm telling you, I started cooking at 7:05 and I got done at 11:45 and I didn't stop. I did not stop, man. It was just like pounding, just wailing out breakfast for people. And my wife was making hot chocolates. We had the 5-gallon drum we filled up 3 times. I'm serious, and I know I'm not trying to rub it in because you weren't here, but you were waiting for that your whole life, and I finally experienced it, and it was amazing, man. The game was perfect because as usual, again, we started off a little slow, but guess what happened? The defense stepped in and gets 2 pick sixes in the first half, completely changes the game, knocks them out of the game, puts our offense at ease, and later in the second half you could tell our guys were relaxed and just saying, okay, let's take their souls right now and go up 21-0 on them, go up 28-0 on them. James going for it on 4th and 1 inside his own 30. I don't know if that was the greatest call of all time, but it did wake the fans up, man. It really, really did. That could have hurt us, but it didn't. Thank God the defense stepped up and came through. But we're going to see a lot of that tonight too. And I know we're going to get into the Boise State thing eventually, but to put the whole playoff in perspective is it went off as expected in my opinion. With the underdogs just getting a little bit embarrassed out there a little bit. I mean, it's like the first round of the NFL when they have wild card weekend. And those games are great because they're all like, there's people sitting with buys, but then those top teams that come in and play the guys who just got done with their bye week game, it's a slaughter usually. And that's what last week looked like to me a little bit. A little different than today is going to look, in my opinion, with the weather-wise. Weather's not going to be an issue anywhere.
No.
But what a great couple days here we have right now. I mean, like, as a football fan, it's everything you get asked for today, tomorrow, going through the weekend and stuff like that.
Yeah, again, if you have not been paying attention, it's a little different in that New Year's Day is usually when we get all of the bowl games that they're on nonstop. We will have basically football most of the day. Again, normally on New Year's Day it starts at 11 a.m. Eastern, and that's not going to be the case. So we'll have the games, but just 3 games throughout the day: 1, 5, and 8:45, and those are obviously all of the playoff games. So today is kind of the normal New Year's Day onslaught of bowl games, and we will have a ton to pick from noon up until the Fiesta Bowl matchup, and then it's just kind of Penn State and Boise State center stage with nothing else competing against it in terms of college football matchups today. NHL gets in on the act a little bit, but from a college football perspective, again, it will be starting with the Penn State Boise State game. Then it's just the quarterfinal games that will take center stage. So just the Fiesta Bowl tonight, and then again just the 3 playoff games tomorrow. So that's just a little different. It'll take a little adjustment. I'm not sure I'll be locked in as I normally would be for the full slate of bowl games. I'll definitely be checking in and watching as much as I can, but we have some other things we've got to get done here this afternoon in our household, so I won't be glued the way normally would be. But I think it's going to be fun seeing the playoffs. And as far as the Boise State game goes, this is where I started rambling. This is, and it's the same thing with the SMU game, where it's like, I don't want to discredit SMU or Boise State going into this game. And I know Boise State is playing up the, us against the world. Nobody believes in us. But at the end of the day, Goon, I do think Penn State's the better football team. I think Penn State has more talent. I think they're playing together, and I think they're playing their best football of the season at the right time of the year. And although it is an overstatement to say that Boise State is one-dimensional, I think there's a little bit of I don't think it's accurate. I think there's a bit of a perception out there that Boise State, it's just Ashton Jeanty. And I don't think that's true, but I do think Ashton Jeanty's effectiveness is what has allowed them to be more of a balanced offense. I think if you shut Jeanty down, or I don't know if you're going to completely shut him down, but limit him, I do think that it puts a different type of pressure then on that passing game. And I'm not sure that Boise State has what it needs to have in the passing game to step up in a moment like tonight against a defense like Penn State's.
Yeah, well, I mean, any good defense should be able to shut down a one-dimensional offense. And that is that Gentry is an unbelievable player. I mean, my personal opinion, if he stays under 125, it's a successful game for us. He's that good. Yeah. He's really damn good. But without the super, I mean, they have a good passing game, but not a great passing game. We shut down that run game, make them pass. It puts them in a whole different perspective. And even more so is if we put points on the board and they have to play catch up, they can't be doing the run game type of thing. They can't set their run game. They can't get Gentry going. They are more worried about having to shut our offense down. And if they can't do that and they have to get into a scoring match with us, they can't run the ball like that and then put them in a bad position. So obviously the goal was to stop Gentry and stop the run game, make them pass, make them throw the ball. And it's lights out if that happens, in my opinion, for them.
Yeah, I think that's right. And I think that the line play, and we're going to take a break here. When we come back, I want to talk about the lines, Goon. And I know this is uncomfortable territory for you. You don't really like analyzing the lines, and you kind of disregard the importance of the lines. But I actually think it's important in a game like this, Goon. And we'll talk about that when we come back. It is the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead show in a unique time slot for us. Again, today and today only, we're going from 10 to noon. And we're coming right back with more of the big show in mere minutes.
Coast into fall with a new Kia from Lion Country Kia. Right now, get a 24 Kia Seltos for 5.25% APR for up to 48 months. A new Sportage plug-in hybrid at 0.9% APR. Check out our 23 Sorrento hybrid for as low as 4.5% APR. And don't forget, all 2023 and 2024 Kias come with a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. Stop in and meet with one of our sales experts today and coast into fall at Lion Country Kia. We want to see you in a Kia.
If you love wings, if you love rings, and all kinds of other tempting things, great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
Get our Best Wings USA, signature sauces, mouth-watering appetizers, or any of our delicious award-winning lube favorites.
Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
I'm the Modelo Recruiter, and I'm looking for fans with good hands and great speed. The ones who stay focused and never miss a play. They go the distance on game day, even when their team is away. I'm always watching, always looking to reward more full-time fans. Because football isn't really football without you.
A lot has changed about State College. One thing that hasn't is W.C. Clark's Coffee Roasters on 234 East Calder Way. 30 different varieties of specialty coffee beans sourced from over 25 countries and roasted with love each morning in Happy Valley for over 45 years. They'll ship their fresh roasted coffee from their doorstep to yours. Order online at statecollegecoffee.com. That's statecollegecoffee.com.
Two of the top names in local printing have combined to serve you better. King Printing of State College has merged with theprinters.com, forming one of the 400 largest printers in America. Combining traditional offset printing and digital workflow techniques, theprinters.com can print, assemble, package, and ship to anywhere in the world, all with the same high quality customers have known and trusted for over 50 years. Buy local and
Coast into fall with a new Kia from Lion Country Kia. Right now, get a 24 Kia Seltos for 5.25% APR for up to 48 months. A new Sportage plug-in hybrid at 0.9% APR. Check out our 23 Sorrento hybrid for as low as 4.5% APR. And don't forget, all 2023 and 2024 Kias come with a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. Stop in and meet with one of our sales experts today and coast into fall at Lion Country Kia. We want to see you in a Kia.
If you love wings, if you love rings, and all kinds of other tempting things, great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
Get our Best Wings USA, signature sauces, mouth-watering appetizers, or any of our delicious award-winning lube favorites.
Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
I'm the Modelo Recruiter, and I'm looking for fans with good hands and great speed. The ones who stay focused.
All right, dear Goon, I'm trying to bring us back. I'm having trouble getting the computer audio now. Oh, we were supposed to have this computer set up so that did not play. Now, it has screwed up our audio here. Give me just a second, Goon. I'm working to get your audio back. For some reason, we've lost the... You can hear me, yes?
I hear you.
You can hear you. You can hear me. I cannot hear you for some reason. And we're just not getting anything from...
Muted me now. Now you've unmuted.
Oh, dang it.
How is that, Jeffrey? Is that better?
Everything was running so smoothly.
Not yet.
Yeah, we just had a malfunction for some reason that played there. My gosh. All right, hang on. I'm trying to figure out. Let's see, that is not. Don't know why we're not able to get that in now. Oh, technical difficulties. You got to love them. All right,
absolutely, my brother. Absolutely.
On program. Oh, that's going to help.
Hello. Hello. Hello, Jeffrey. Yes, no, maybe. Good night, sweetheart.
Wonder if we play that. Oh, why did that go off? One more time here with the commercial break and see if we can get our audio back. My apologies. It's we're not synced up. I know you're hearing it good on the computer. At least that's my belief. The issue is at the moment we're not getting the computer audio through, and I don't know why that is on the station. So give me a moment, and we'll come right back and try again.
Coast into fall with a new Kia from Lion Country Kia. Right now, get a 24 Kia Seltos for 5.25% APR for up to 48 months. A new Sportage plug-in hybrid at 0.9% APR. Check out our 23 Sorento hybrid for as low as 4.5% APR. And don't forget, all 2023 and 2024 Kias come with a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. Stop in and meet with one of our sales experts today and coast into fall at Lion Country Kia. We want to see you in a Kia.
If you love wings, if you love rings, and all kinds of other tempting things, great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
Get our Best Wings USA, signature sauces, mouth-watering appetizers, or any of our delicious award-winning lube favorites.
Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
I'm the Modelo Recruiter, and I'm looking for fans with good hands and great speed. The ones who stay focused and never miss a play. They go the distance on game day, even when their team is away. I'm always watching, always looking to reward more full-time fans. Because football isn't really football without you.
A lot has changed about State College. One thing that hasn't is W.C. Clark's Coffee Roasters on 234 East Calder Way. 30 different varieties of specialty coffee beans sourced from over 25 countries and roasted with love each morning in Happy Valley for over 45 years. They'll ship their fresh roasted coffee from their doorstep to yours. Order online at statecollegecoffee.com. That's statecollegecoffee.com.
Two of the top names in local printing have combined to serve you better. King Printing and State College has merged with theprinters.com, forming one of the 400 largest printers in America. Combining traditional offset printing and digital workflow techniques, theprinters.com can print, assemble, package, and ship to anywhere in the world, all with the same high quality customers have known and trusted for over 50 years. Buy local and save. Get started today at theprinters.com.
Lusk & Associates Sotheby's International Realty proudly presents the introduction of our new State College office at 314 South Borough Street in State College. At Sotheby's International Realty, we advertise locally, nationally, and internationally, bringing the best of advertising and promotion to each and every one of our properties, big or small. Call now.
With a Timber Kids savings account, you can start to save money, earn prizes, and teach your kids the value of savings. It's easy as 1, 2, 3. Building futures is what we do at TFCU.
You really need to belong to a credit union. You belong at TFCU, Timberland Federal Credit Union, a credit union you can grow with.
WFXS. Once again,
your sports radio.
Broadcasting live, loud and proud from Central PA's Sports Authority, WFXS America.
98.7, the Fox State College, the Goon and Ironhead.
Right. So it was just me, apparently, that couldn't hear. Apparently everybody else was good. Now even I can hear. So hopefully.
I hope everybody enjoyed my singing.
Oh, we're okay. Jeez. Sorry about that. It was a glitch on the in the board in the studio. But I think we're all now back, and even I can hear. And that was, I mean, it was cool that all of you, and I appreciate, I had a couple people reach out, and I guess you did too, going like, no, we can hear both of you fine. It's like, well, I can't hear us fine. But now I can. So we've resolved the issue, at least for the time being, and we move forward. Here's the thing with Boise State, Goon, is I really do respect them. I think it is a good team. I think it is a good program. I think they've got a terrific coach. I think Jeanty is the real deal and a great running back. I also think Penn State's going to win comfortably. Oh, yeah, doubt us. Go ahead and doubt us, Boise State fans. And listen, we'll find out tonight. I really think Penn State has a significant advantage at the line of scrimmage on both sides. And I think it's the difference between being an upper tier Big Ten team and a Mountain West team. And again, I think Boise State is a very good program. I think they're very deserving of being in the playoffs. Listen, they played Oregon really, and it was early in the season, but that was a really, really good, tough football game. And again, I think they're very well coached. They don't turn the ball over. They don't beat themselves. But I also don't think they've seen a line outside of Oregon that says as physical as what Penn State will bring here. Again, I'm talking on both sides of the ball. And I just think over 4 quarters, Goon, that's a difference maker for Penn State.
Absolutely, and that is that wearing them down and imposing your will. I mean, this is not the Boise State that beat Oklahoma back in the day when they were just getting onto the scene. I think the days of Boise State sneaking up on anybody in bowl games are well past. If you think back to some of their biggest bowl wins, that's against teams who really didn't want to be there because they were pissed off they weren't part of the playoff or part of the national title type of thing. I don't think our guys are overlooking them. I believe that you, I, and the rest of the fan base are like, oh, this is going to be an easy game. It won't be an easy game. It's a proud team out there at Boise. Tough team. We need to impose our will on them and break them, break that spirit. And that is by stopping their run game and putting them in a position where they're uncomfortable. And our comfort level is being able to run the ball. So, I mean, I know we'll get into predictions later, but I do want to say this. Whoever has the most rushing yards wins this game. I mean, that means that we're rushing the ball very well and shut Gentry down because that is a big thing. And that's key number one is shutting him down. And again, you're not a Division I offense or defense if you can't shut a single faceted team down. I mean, we should be able to stop a passing team if they don't have a run game. We should be able to stop a run team if they don't have a great passing game. Put them in uncomfortable positions, make them want to have to throw the ball where they're not comfortable doing that. And I think we can run away with this game.
Well, and there is, I think, kind of one of the interesting games within the game is listen, I think Penn State obviously wants to get Katron Allen and Nicholas Singleton going. Boise State obviously wants to get Ashton Jeanty going in a big way and let him be featured in this game. So both defenses go in with the idea we're not going to let Allen and Singleton beat us if you're Boise State. We're not going to let Jeanty just run all over us if we're Penn State. And so both teams, I think, want to force their opponent into having to throw the ball and have to be more quarterback reliant. Now, what Boise State will point to going into this game is that they have been very good at managing the game. Maddox Matson has not turned the ball over. I think 3 interceptions all season long. Now, that is easier to do when, again, you're getting the production that you are from Genty game in and game out. You're not having to rely, and so he can kind of manage the defenses are focused on Genty, and when he does drop back with the play action, it's been very effective. They don't take a lot of chances with the passing game. And so, again, Madsen's numbers are very, very, very good. And kind of comparable to Drew Aller. Aller has more interceptions, also has more yards and more touchdowns. But this is the thing. If it comes down to, I agree with you. I think that the team that rushes for more yards wins the game. I also think, again, both teams are wanting to force the opponent into having to throw the ball. I think if that does emerge as what happens, let's just say both defenses are successful at limiting the running game. Again, I don't think either team is going to just shut down the other team's running game. But let's say they're both effective at limiting the rushing game. I think Penn State is in much better position, partly because of Tyler Warren, partly because of the running backs out of the backfield, but also partly because of the production we've seen from the receivers in the last few games. And Drew Aller, I just trust Drew Aller more if he is needing to make some big throws than I do Maddox Madsen, the Boise State quarterback. And again, taking into account the respective defenses that they're going against as part of that equation.
Yeah, I mean, it's just such a big game for us in the way that it's. I don't want to sit there and tell you like the whole everybody's on Franklin's crap and stuff like that. This is a huge game for Penn State. You know, I just talked about how like in the past Boise State has played in these big playoff games, or excuse me, big bowl games, and it's a huge game for them. This is a huge game for us. I think that whole big game James thing needs to go away. And this is the best way to do that. I mean, there's a lot of questions going in here. I mean, one of the questions I do want to ask before I do forget it, and that is with Prabula leaving, I understand. I got the story of why he is gone and all that stuff, and it's a Coach Franklin thing. Once you say you're entering the portal, you're done. Your locker's cleaned out, this and that. If you watch some of these bowl games, they're like, oh, well, so-and-so's in the portal. And I'm like, well, how is he playing for that team? That drives me a little bit crazy, but I wanted to get that off my chest. But this is a big game for us on the national scene, in my opinion, because if we get to win this game tonight, then you are in that Final Four. And that was the goal of this year, to be the playoff, not the 12-team playoff, the 4-team playoff. And I think that it gives rise to, we need that as a program to shut people up somewhat, because it's, the whole, Penn State only beats who they have to beat or they're supposed to beat and all. This is a huge game for Penn State because it takes us to the next level. Yeah. I think our guys know that. I know Coach Franklin knows that. I think that it's, if a coach can feel that way and our fans can feel that way, but does the team feel that way? And I truly, truly do. It's a very well-led team. It starts up up front with the offensive line, obviously. And I think that the way that they're playing, and that is imposing our will on the Boise State team, making them pass the ball, let us run the ball. We got to take our hat off. We have not talked about Nolan Rucci coming in and playing right tackle for Penn State and really just stepping up huge, because that was a big loss with the big man going down. And then, Nolan comes in there and like nothing, not a missed stride whatsoever on this offense. He's playing very well offensively. Defensively, I mean, Jeff, that SMU game, our D-line just absolutely destroyed that offensive line from SMU. If we have 3/4 of that type of attitude and type of productivity from our D-line this week, fantastic. I mean, it's going to be a lights-out type of game, over by halftime like the SMU game. But, I mean, we got to be ready. Our fans need to be ready, because I think our fans are a lot cockier than our players are. I think our players, they're not talking a lot. They know they got to go out there and do it, and it's a business trip, and I do want to talk about all that. And, our guys, again, the very well-led team from the inside and then from up top with Coach Franklin, I'm okay. We just got to do what we got to do. We got to worry about our game plan, not worry about what they're doing. They're going to do what they do. They're going to try to run the ball. If we can stop that, game's over. Bottom line.
Yeah. There's a couple of things that I'm really curious to see how it unfolds in this game tonight. One is, like, Penn State did a great job of flying around defensively against SMU. There's no question that, and I'm sure it's been the case with all of the teams that Boise State has faced this season, where it's like, all right, we know that Genty is great at breaking tackles. He has whatever the numbers are that they've thrown out. I think it's over 1,800 yards after the first contact that he has this season. It is astounding. So one of the things that Penn State unquestionably has been emphasizing in practice is don't assume, hey, I see my guys there. All right, we've got him down. Like, keep flying to the football and gang tackle. Like, till you hear the whistle blow, man, you keep punishing that guy, ripping at the football, all of that stuff. So I think that's going to be a point of emphasis. And I think with the speed that Penn State has on defense, they're going to get a lot of guys there. Now, I think Jenny's going to break some tackles. I think Jenny's going to, as you said, get over 100 yards. But if Penn State can limit him to, in that 125 range, maybe get a turnover somewhere along the way where you have them, he's stopped, and then somebody comes in as he keeps fighting and rips the ball away, that could be huge in this game. To me, the recipe for Boise State to win is to convert on a couple of gimmick plays to keep either drives going or to score, and to be +2 in the turnover margin. I think that's the recipe that at least gives Boise State a chance, because I don't think Boise State, again, man for man, talent-wise, and it's not disrespecting Boise State, I think Penn State is right there this year with the big boys. Whoever you think, Texas is getting a lot of love as the team to beat. Oregon's getting a lot of love. Ohio State, whoever you think, or whatever teams you think are in that top tier this season, I think Penn State's right there in terms of athletic talent. The biggest concern to me still, Goon, is the receiving core, and against elite secondaries and elite defenses, can they get the separation and make a big play or two when needed? That still is a question for me, Goon. I think we've seen better production. I think there's a chance that Amari Evans could do that, that Trey Wallace could do it. But, man, are they going to do it if they get into a big-time game with Notre Dame in the semifinals, or a rematch with Oregon or Ohio State? I don't know. And nobody can sit here and definitively say one way or the other, yep, that's going to happen, or no way it can happen until you see it. So I would like to see those guys get some opportunities and convert on those opportunities in this game tonight. And I think that could be a difference maker as well. I just think it's one of those games where Boise State, I don't think they have to play a perfect game, but a lot of things have to roll their way. And I think Penn State can slant the field significantly the other way if it does, in fact, fly to the football with the athletes that it has on defense, again, stop and maybe get a turnover or two somewhere along the way over 4 quarters. That could be, to me, really slant this thing in Penn State's favor significantly.
Yeah, turnovers would be an absolute monster. Would be a killer for Boise State, because they got to be the giant killer tonight. They have to play a perfect game to get through Penn State. If we play to the ability that we have, I think we will. I really truly do. I think our guys are prepared mentally, physically. They're ready to go. I do want to talk about the short and bold trip type of thing. I did get some inside information. Not inside information, just like I got the update of when they went out and all that stuff, and what talk about that now real quick. And that is, we went down for 3 days. this is a 3-day bowl trip. So the traditional Fiesta Bowl that we would remember in the 86 and when I played in one in 1992 and then 97 and the last couple years ago, those days are over. This is a business trip. We got out there 2 days ago, had a practice or two, did a press conference, this and that. So this truly isn't a bowl game, in my opinion, other than in name, and that's it. It's a trip to go out there, get used to the time, that type of thing. You don't have classes now. You're traveling across the country. That was an issue, with playing at USC this year or UCLA coming east and having to catch up to the time and stuff like that. I don't think that's going to be a problem. But our guys, it is a business trip. I know that from, sending some guys a couple messages here and there and saying good luck to the guys and stuff like that. And they're ready to go. I think on a national scale, and if you want to talk about that, we can. Do you think that we got sort of taken care of being in this lower end of the bracket? I truly, truly think we do. I mean, to have Ohio State playing Oregon right now in the second round is pretty unbelievable when we're playing Boise State, which I'm not complaining about. The NCAA owed us a lot for the years and years and years of undefeated uncrowned titles that we had. But, I think our guys are going to be ready. I don't think Boise State has the mentality because, just go back to that Oklahoma game when they ran the Statue of Liberty play and all that stuff. That game didn't mean anything to Oklahoma. It really didn't. It was just a Fiesta Bowl to them. It was just like, all right, let's get through this. It's not playing for a national title. We're not doing this and not doing that. But it meant everything to Boise. Where today, it means everything to us. It truly does. I mean, this is a huge moment in Penn State history and James Franklin's history. And I think that they know that. Our guys realize that. I know Coach realizes that. And I'm looking forward to this game big time. We'll get into our predictions later, but I like us by a lot.
Yeah, I think that's a great point with the Boise State-Oklahoma game. As Boise State went into that game with everything to prove. Like
that was their Super Bowl. That was theirs.
And Oklahoma, even to this day, like the fact that they lost that game and the overall scheme of things, okay, you lost a bowl game. Like sometimes you win bowl games, sometimes you lose. That really was so much more to Boise State than it was to Oklahoma. And to your point, I've been talking about this all season, and to me, it just continues with the way this postseason lines up. Everything is lining up in Penn State's favor in terms of just the way the schedule played out, in terms of the way the opponents ended up working out to give Penn State the opportunity to get some confidence building wins, to get some significant wins without having to face a top 5 type of team. And even in retrospect, now, would I rather Penn State has that win over Ohio State under his belt? Of course. But honestly, Goon, I think the fact that they lost to the Buckeyes and even lost to Oregon, especially in the way they did, I think it adds to that little chip on the shoulder here that this Penn State team takes in to these playoffs. And so I think two things. Yes, I think this is lining up very favorably for Penn State, as I think much of the season has. The thing to me, Goon, and I think this team will, because of the leadership and everything you've talked about throughout the year, I think it will live up to the challenge, but it needs to. This feels like that carpe diem moment. Like you have to seize the opportunity when it's here. And I think we talked about this going into the SMU game, Goon. To me, it feels like one of those, if not now, then when? I mean, if you're not going to get to the Final Four this year, with the quarterback you have, the tight end you have, the defensive end you have, all of the other things in play, the schedule playing out the way it did, the path in the playoffs playing out the way it is, like if you don't get to the Final Four, it is going to be a bitter disappointment. Now, is it something you can recover from? And then, does the program end if you lose this game tonight? No. And yeah, so you can recover and know it's not the end of the program. But boy, in the moment, devastating loss if it occurs tonight. I just don't think this team will allow it to happen. I think they will seize the opportunity. I think they recognize that, man, this is not just a chance to get to the Final Four. I think they truly believe in that locker room they are going to win the national championship, that all of the difficulties, all of the things they've had to overcome is all leading to this moment, and that they are going to go out and win the national title. And I think they are hoping, genuinely hoping, that they get a shot at either Oregon or Ohio State. I think they want to avenge one of those losses. And I don't think they're openly thinking about this right now as they get ready for this game tonight. But I do think they want that opportunity. I think if you got truth serum in them, they want to see. I don't think it much matters next week, for whether it's Notre Dame or Georgia. Both of those are going to be huge opportunities, marquee games, and all of it. And then you want that opportunity again, I think, to get either Oregon or Ohio State and get an opportunity and a little payback, but obviously, more importantly, get an opportunity to win a national title. I just think they are focused in on this game tonight. And again, it's not disrespecting Boise State. It's not that I think that's an undeserving team. It's that I really think Penn State is that good right now. I think Penn State is one of the top 4 teams in the country. And I think with the way they're playing right now and the confidence with which they're playing, this is a team that is entirely capable of going down and winning the national title now.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the ultimate goal. This is just the next step of that progression. Again, when have we won titles here? That's with having well-led teams and like we do, and a strong offensive line. I'm gonna tout those guys big time because offensively we're playing very well. And if we can keep our defense off the field and keep Gentry off the field, that's only going to help us in the long run. Looking ahead, going ahead, is it the Orange Bowl? Is it going to be Notre Dame or Georgia? I'm okay with all of that. I do feel like tonight is a huge game in the progression for Penn State because it does put us in an atmosphere that we've not been in the James Franklin era. I know that it's a big thing for him. And honestly, God, it's a lot for our fans that they can always harp on. He doesn't win a big game. He doesn't do this. It's always an excuse for what he has or hasn't done. And tonight is a great opportunity for him to shut those people up a little bit and our team, because if you do talk to the guys on the team, they do love and they do respect James and they do want to do well for him. And I think tonight is that logical next step to where the program is going to be. And then, you roll your head out there next week. If, God willing, we win the night, we go out the next Thursday and, play down at the Orange Bowl against Notre Dame or Georgia. I don't think you have to pump our guys up for that. I mean, if they're not self-motivated for that, then there's something wrong with our program. And the program needs to be shut down if this is not the attitude right now.
Yeah, and that's the thing. So I think, again, going back to just the way everything is playing out and why I think it is kind of in Penn State's favor and why they need to ride this wave of momentum and again, capitalize on the opportunity. You don't know. They could have the same opportunity next year. I mean, that is certainly a possibility, but you don't know it. And we've seen over the years a lot of times, like in the NFL, you're like, oh, this team's, they fell short, but boy, look out, they're going to have a great run. And then you don't hear from them again. It's like, well, no, that was like, they're good, but they never get back. You don't know. Again, could be next year that you have that opportunity, but you don't know. This may be the opportunity for James Franklin and Penn State to win a national title. Man, go cash in. And it feels like with each week, right now, there's a little more belief that, okay, well, you beat SMU and really kind of hammered them at home. Maybe this can be done. Well, if you win this game, and again, especially if you do it convincingly tonight, Now a little more belief. And again, at that point, you're 2 games away. Like you want to finish it off, regardless of who the opponents are and any other factors there. When you're that close and you've been waiting as long as this program, this coach, these players have for that opportunity, man, go cash in on it.
I mean, just as a program, we've been waiting since 1968 for these freaking playoffs, man. I mean, this is the opportunity we've been asking for 60 some years, and that is, that just give us a playoff. Let us in a playoff and see where it goes from here. And I think that our guys realize that and see how close they are. And it's not up to some politician, or not up to some coaches and sports writers to see who the best team is. We have the opportunity to go out and do that. We have the opportunity to go out and avenge some losses maybe in the future, hopefully, in the next couple of weeks, Again, I just go back to my era, and we just wanted the opportunity, and now we have it. The opportunity is there for us, and I think that our guys realize that, and they're going to take advantage of it.
Yeah, I want to talk a little bit more about the leadership and some of the individuals on this team, and both the importance that they've played in this season to date, the role that they're going to need to play if Penn State is to finish this thing off with the ultimate prize in college football. And we'll pick up kind of that individual theme a little bit on the other side of this timeout. You are listening to the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead show here on a Tuesday morning. Again, we'll be going till noon today. Then the Pennsylvania Sports Network will take over from noon to 6 with Joe Lednoski from noon to 3 and Jed Donahue rolling your way from 3 to 6. And then we'll have Jim Galati and the Keystone Kickoff Show re-airing last night's program from 6 to 8 right up through kickoff this evening. We're coming right back with more on this New Year's Eve edition.
Coast into fall with a new Kia from Lion Country Kia. Right now, get a 24 Kia Seltos for 5.25% APR for up to 48 months. A new Sportage plug-in hybrid at 0.9% APR. Check out our 23 Sorrento hybrid for as low as 4.5% APR. And don't forget, all 2023 and 2024 Kias come with a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. Stop in and meet with one of our sales experts today and coast into fall at Lion Country Kia. We want to see you in a Kia.
If you love wings, if you love rings, and all kinds of other tempting things, great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
Get our Best Wings USA, signature sauces, mouth-watering appetizers, or any of our delicious award-winning lube favorites.
Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak Lube.
I'm the Modelo Recruiter, and I'm looking for fans with good hands and great speed. The ones who stay focused and never miss a play. They go the distance on game day, even when their team is away. I'm always watching, always looking to reward more full-time fans. Because football isn't really football without you.
A lot has changed about State College. One thing that hasn't is W.C. Clark's Coffee Roasters on 234 East Calder Way. 30 different varieties of specialty coffee beans sourced from over 25 countries and roasted with love each morning in Happy Valley for over 45 years. They'll ship their fresh roasted coffee from their doorstep to yours. Order online at statecollegecoffee.com. That's statecollegecoffee.com.
Two of the top names in local printing have combined to serve you better. King Printing of State College has merged with theprinters.com, forming one of the 400 largest printers in America. Combining traditional offset printing and digital workflow techniques, theprinters.com can print, assemble, package, and ship to anywhere in the world, all with the same high quality customers have known and trusted for over 50 years. Buy local and save. Get started today at theprinters.com.
Lusk & Associates Sotheby's International Realty proudly presents the introduction of our new State College office at 314 South Borough Street in State College. At Sotheby's International Realty, we advertise locally, nationally, and internationally, bringing the best of advertising and promotion to each and every one of our properties, big or small. Call now.
With a Timber Kids savings account, you can start to save money, earn prizes, and teach your kids the value of savings. It's easy as 1, 2, 3. Building futures is what we do at TFCU.
You really need to belong to a credit union. You belong at TFCU, Timberland Federal Credit Union, a credit union you can grow with.
WFXS, the Fox, your sports radio.
Broadcasting live, loud and proud from Central PA's Sports Authority, WFXS America.
98.7, the Fox State College, the Goon and Ironhead.
And we are back here on this New Year's Eve morning and getting you ready for Penn State and Boise State tonight. We'll talk a little bit about the matchups. Well, we've touched on it with the line play, but some of the other matchups a little bit later. But I wanted to hit on a few of the individuals, Goon, and you touched on one earlier in Nolan Rucci, who I just think you talk about a guy that what a journey it has been for him. Just to get to this point. And then with Anthony Donko's injury, Rucci being called upon to step up. And Rucci has had some great moments this season, but he's also, there's been some games where it's like, it wasn't great. Like had some plays here and there where he just got beat. I think he stepped up in a huge way. And this means everything to him, Goon. Like that. He has got to be just chomping at the bit here for the opportunity to not just play tonight, but to get that opportunity to go to the Final Four, to try to be a national champion with the school that his father made his name for, and that obviously ultimately he ends up following in his footsteps here. I just think that's a guy that it's just a really neat individual story. And again, we talk about the team component here, and that obviously is important for any team that's going to win a national title, that team first mentality. But that team first mentality comes from a bunch of individuals who are playing selfless football.
Sure. And then him jumping in there, and he's not a super physical player, but that's not needed. And he's 6'8", 6'9". I mean, that's a true 6'8", 6'9", Jeff. He is a big boy, and it's tough for him because, I know because I was 6'7" when I played football. It is tough to get underneath guys' pads and be a super physical player, but he's doing everything right now, and that's protecting our quarterback and getting a run game where we haven't missed a beat. Actually, the run game has picked up since he's come on board, and you can see it game by game because when he first started the first couple of games, and then he was a little hesitant and this and that, and you and I had talked about, as a football player in any kind of sport, but it's about confidence. Offensive line is about confidence. And he went out there that first game and said, you know what? Damn, I can do this. I got this. I'm pretty damn good at this. And the confidence just builds from there. Without him, without our offensive line depth, we've not had in how long?
Yes.
Could you imagine how treacherous this would have been 5-6 years ago? 10 years ago? I mean, wow. He's stepping up. We are playing a lot of guys in the interior. I think that Shelton and Rucci are playing fantastic on the outside. They're not they're not absolute maulers out there. They're not going to go out there and, drive guys 30 yards down the field, but they're going to be competent run blockers and competent pass blockers. And then, it's up to our quarterbacks and our running backs to make those reads, and they got to make it happen. But, that's an unsung hero right there for this team in Nolan Rucci coming in there and playing the way he has. They haven't missed a beat.
At all. And I think that one of the things, and again, you could probably go down the entire roster and probably do it with both teams. There's great stories here, but I think another one, I want to stay with the offensive line. And Nick Dawkins, who I know you've gotten to know a little bit better through the players' shows that he's done throughout the season. Again, he's helped my wife's foundation a little bit and was wonderful with my kiddo. Obviously, he got the Danny Werfel Award this season, which is not insignificant because it is somebody that realizes, as important as football is to him, that there's more important things out there. And I think that's part of the perspective. And when I think of Nick Dawkins, Goon, for me, he would fit in well on Cale Sanderson's wrestling team because he's a very humble guy. He doesn't mind working his tail off, isn't looking for the accolades that come with that. And I really think it's one of these things in this era where if I don't get playing time immediately, I'm taking my talent elsewhere, all of that. This is a guy who just persevered, found a home here at Penn State, felt like this is where he wanted to be, made an impact while not starting in so many different ways in that locker room as well. I mean, he was one of the leaders of this football team last year as a non-starter. And really from day one, when he came in as a freshman, he's been one of those leaders. But he had the personality that he has, the upbeat attitude, like that is it's something that all of us, like, I want to have that. I want to be a guy that just every day, man, I bring it. And we all, I think, try to do our best. But, man, there are days where it's like, nope, I'm just a miserable SOB today. Just leave me alone. I got to get this out of my system. And, again, I'm around that wrestling team, and it's just a bunch of guys that just they never seem to have an off day. They never give you the appearance that, yep, man, it's just one of those days for me. And Dawkins is like that. It's like, I mean, we all have those days. Boy, you would never know it. Watching him, listening to him. And I just think it is so nice to see a guy like that who has bided his time, who has worked his tail off, who has made an impact above and beyond the football field, get the rewards now of being the guy in the middle of that line in what could go down as the one of the really special seasons in Penn State football history.
I mean, you talk about Cale Sanderson, he could be the cockiest man on this planet if he really wanted to be, and he's not. And that's a lot of the way that Nick is. And it's like, I don't think the accolades mean anything to him on all that. He's just like, dude, the job's not done. We still have to finish this job. And I think that he is the guy motivating these guys on his team. I don't, like you said it, he doesn't get super, super high. He doesn't get super low, man. And it's a great way to live your life and then way on the football field. I mean, I know people who know Nick outside of football, and they're like, they see videos of him on game day, like getting the team fired up, and they have no idea who the hell that person is. I mean, it's really, the man can turn it on and off pretty damn good. You know as well as I do. You've talked to Nick. I've talked to Nick. How laid back and chill he is. But then come game day, man, it's we're ready to rock. And then he's the leader of that crew out there. But again, they're taking that his work ethic as in, I'm never going to get too high. I'm never going to get too low. And that's the way this whole offense is. And it's starting to bleed over into the whole team. But Nick has done a fantastic job with the offensive line, keeping those guys together. I mean, it's a great offensive line when you don't hear about how bad they are. You talk about how, we need to do this and we do that. We haven't had that, like, oh my God, this offensive line cost us this game. I haven't had that in a while. And, Coach Troutman deserves a lot of credit for what he's brought in and how he's grown this offensive line. But again, you go to see Nick. I think Nick might have been a captain last year and he wasn't even a starter. I mean, you know how hard that is? I mean, that's pretty damn impressive.
No, he just deserves, again, I don't think you can give him enough credit for what he has meant to the program and to the community at large since he's arrived in Happy Valley. I want to talk a little bit about Drew Aller too, Goon, because his development to me has been really key here too. And his ability to maybe harness some of that emotion in a more positive direction this season compared to maybe last year or earlier in his career. And I think there's a maturation there where he recognizes, again, maybe some deficiencies in himself and things that he needs to work on, both mechanically and just, again, maturity-wise or just as a leader of this program. And this is a guy that obviously could go to the NFL this year and has made the commitment to come back next year. And I think there's probably several reasons for that, and certainly the NIL opportunities now, I think, make it a little easier for a guy like Drew Aller to come back. But also, Goon, I think he recognizes he wants to maybe crystallize some of those mechanics a little more consistently so that he is truly an NFL-ready quarterback and feels like another year here is going to give him that opportunity to do that.
I know he announced that, Jeffrey, but what if he does lead us to a national title and goes through there and just plays 4 outstanding games? I mean, there's nothing this is not saying this is going to happen. I mean, I'd love for it to happen, but if he does go lights out through this playoff and it's like, wow, he jumps into the top 10 of the draft, I mean, he's got to go. I mean, if he works himself into a first-round pick, and it's great that he said that he's coming back, but, I mean, do you think that he would change his mind if he does, the next 3 games, if we have 3 games? I mean, if he goes and plays like that the way he possibly could and lead this team to a national title, and he might just say, you know what, I'm ready to go.
Well, I mean, a couple of things. First of all, I don't know him well. I mean, I don't know him, period. I don't know that I've ever actually even met him. So I first and foremost, let me say I don't know. But here's the thing, Goon. And certainly he's within his rights, and I would not begrudge him if it becomes obvious that he's a top 10 pick and they win the national title. I certainly wouldn't begrudge him leaving. But it's just that he knows that that's a possibility. He knew that when he made the announcement. He knows the impact that his announced return has had on the program, i.e., Bo Prabula getting out of here. I get the sense that he's pretty committed to it. Now, again, if we start getting feedback that he's going to be a top 3 pick, and again, if they win the national title, it's like, well, what really is that you're going to do coming back? Okay, but my guess is he's got enough feedback from people that are in the know at the NFL level that it's like, yeah, you need, if you really want to be that guy, a top 5 or top 10 pick, you need to be, and I don't know what it is, but you listen to the analysts, he gets a little sloppy. And again, I'm telling you what I'm hearing from the analysts. I don't sit down and break down the quarterback position. I'm not a film guy like that. But what the analysts are saying about him is, yeah, he still gets a little sloppy with his mechanics at times. Like, it's been more consistent this year, but there are times where he just, the mechanics break down, the arm isn't doing what it should, the footwork gets sloppy. So I think he's hearing enough of that, and I think he genuinely likes the college experience. And again, I don't know exactly what his NIL money is, Goon, but I know it's not too shabby. I think he's making a decent living for himself while playing college football.
More than ours, Jeff. It's more than ours.
So while I would never say never, I will say I'll be very surprised if he does not, even if they win the national title and he has a terrific final 3 games here. I will be surprised if he ends up not returning to Penn State next year, because I don't get the feeling that this was a decision he made lightly, and it's like, oh yeah, no, I just want to come back. I mean, I think there were a lot of pieces that went into him announcing that decision internally before it got released publicly, and I think it's unlikely that that's going to change so substantially with a playoff run, because again, he went into this, I think, knowing that was a real opportunity and a real chance for this team to get a national title this year. So I just And really, win or lose in these playoffs, Goon, to me, it seems more unlikely next year that Penn State would get, be in the exact same spot where it has an opportunity to go win a national title. Now, I think they can be a playoff team next year. All of the things that we keep talking about, there's a little bit of luck that has to go into any championship run. And it feels to me, Goon, like this has been a season where, a little bit of luck has gone in Penn State's favor, at least to this point. And again, we'll see how it plays out. So you're right. There's nothing, concrete about that decision by Aller, and it's certainly possible that he leaves. I get the feeling he's pretty committed to the return next year. I'll be surprised if something changes substantially enough that he reneges on that decision. And again, it's certainly within his right. And by the way, I think with Grunkemeier's development, I don't think that's that in and of itself would be devastating to Penn State's chances next year. But it's a pretty significant change having a guy that has been, would be a 3-year starter and has obviously, certainly if they get to the Final Four at least, has that type of experience as opposed to a guy that has not had any in-game college experience as your quarterback next year.
Don't you like these first world problems we have this year, Jeff?
Amen, brother.
In years past, it was who the hell's going to play guard, tackle, center, tight end, all that stuff. So now we're talking about if this guy comes back. If not, we have next man up, and that's called building a program. And that's what James has done. In a time when it's very, very odd to build a program with this NIL culture that is out there right now. I think that our guys have banded together as a team more so than a lot of other teams. I mean, there's a lot of other teams involved. I mean, you hear it. They talk about money. Money is the first thing they talk about, where Penn State, they're not talking about that. And it's a great thing. And I did see did you see the amount of NIL money that each team has, and we came in 11th at $13 million and stuff like that. And think about that. It's exactly par for the course of where we've been the last couple of years. And do you think that, as well as I do, and people have been anti-James Franklin for a couple of years now, I want to see what he can do. I have heard that from a million people. I want to see him win some big games, and then I'll look into donating and stuff like that, because I've heard that a lot. So looking at it that way, how big of a game that is for us this year in getting that NIL money coming in for future teams. I'm also, I'm not a fan of the NIL, as you well know, because I'm a fan of the team, and I think that our team guys are they're getting paid. We understand that, we know that, but it doesn't seem our guys are too flashy. I think that our guys are about winning this title. I really do. And I think it's a very mature team, more mature than a lot of teams we've had in the past, including all of mine, that I think that these guys are they're well focused on what they need to do to get to that national title.
Yeah, I agree with you in terms of the maturity and kind of that team first. And it's one of the things, we've talked about that I don't think James Franklin gets enough credit from his detractors for that, the culture piece of it that he has built at Penn State. And you mentioned earlier that these guys play for James Franklin. It means something. And there is, a very good relationship, not just with the players, but with the families of those players. By and large, and there may be a family here or there that's rankled. I don't know that there's any coach of any program at this level that there's not somebody that's but boy, by and large, good. It is amazing to me, the buy-in that they get, and again, the consistency with which they have played over the last 3 seasons. I know, again, the focus on the Michigan, Ohio State, and I get it as far as it goes. But also to not lose a game that you're expected to win in this day and age of college football over a season, let alone 3 years, is really, really hard. And I don't think he gets enough credit for either of those things. That the complete buy-in that he at least seems to have from the players and their families, and the consistency with which they go out and perform. And it's not to say, again, every team, every program has games where it's like, man, didn't live up to the what we're capable of. But finding ways to win those games on those days, that is not easy. And I'd have to go back and look. There are not many programs over the last 3 years where you're like, nope, they never once stubbed their toe against an inferior opponent. Like that is.
We haven't had that game we should have lost that we won this year. We didn't have that.
Yeah. And again, we had some close calls, and you could argue, unexpectedly, and fine. But I mean, Notre Dame lost to Northern Illinois. It wasn't that they had a close game like Penn State did with Bowling Green. They actually lost the game. Alabama got pounded by Oklahoma. Lost to them. Again, you go right down the list. It's not an easy thing to do.
You mentioned families. Did you see the stipends for the bowl? Did we talk about that a couple weeks ago or no?
I don't think we did talk about it on air. If we did, we can rehash.
The stipends that have gone out, obviously the players get their their bowl checks and stuff like that to go out to the Fiesta Bowl. But each player's family gets a $3,000 voucher for airfare and hotels and travel expenses. Do you know how awesome that is?
Yeah.
That is an unbelievably awesome thing. And I'm so freaking happy that it's finally happening. Because that was a big damn thing. I think we did talk about this because I think I had the same conversation. That was a big damn thing for me and my family was going to and from bowl games and getting my family there because it costs a lot of damn money. But I love the fact that the NCAA or the college football playoff has come out and given each player a $3,000 stipend for their families. I love it.
Yeah, no, it's at least some recognition of the importance here by college football of the players. And again, it may be the cynical me is like, well, they're trying to get ahead of other problems, but you'd like to think it's just some genuine goodwill here too. Hey, let's the money is available there. Let's go ahead and put it to good use. So
you figure 85 scholarship guys is probably who they're going to. I don't know if they would do 105 or 85. I don't know. But you figure $3,000 is not that. I mean, with what the money they're talking about
in the overall,
your players and the players' families happy and understand that, hey, this is a gift and it's very appreciative. I love it, and it's about time it's freaking happening.
One other player I want to touch on is Dom DeLuca, Goon, because obviously he had the interception return for a touchdown that kind of kickstarted everything with SMU. And, kind of like Nick Dawkins, I just think he's a guy that, again, has bided his time. Talk about a team-first mentality, a multi-year captain. And, again, one of these guys that just was willing to bide his time, put in the work, and it means everything to guys like that to have this opportunity. And it's why when we talk about, will Penn State go out there and take anything for granted? No, because guys like Nick Dawkins and Dom DeLuca won't allow it to happen. There's no way they're looking past this opportunity.
Let's think about this. I mean, we are a national recruiting school now, not so much as Notre Dame, Ohio State, Michigan. We're not that national, but we are national. You can't tell me that doesn't mean something. Nick Dawkins and Dom DeLuca, who are Pennsylvania kids playing for Penn State. I mean, Nick was Dom was a walk-on who wouldn't be on the team coming next year. He wouldn't have the opportunity he has coming forward in the next in the next few years with his scholarship because he came in as a walk-on. We're getting rid of the walk-on program. I just think that we're talking about it means so much to those kids, and it does because they are true Pennsylvania kids. They love the fact that they're playing for the Penn State University, and I think that enthusiasm has worn off on their teammates. Everybody's bought in. It's a fun atmosphere. I mean, God, I know you weren't there, but I'm telling you that the SMU game was like a damn party, man. It really was. I mean, everybody's just hugging and loving life in the stands and all. I don't know, nothing went wrong for us that game, but it was just like this team and these fans have bonded together, and they have like this, like they're together, they're tight, and just keep it rolling, dude. And I think that's what's going to happen today.
Yeah, I really do too. I just again, we'll see how it plays out, obviously, but boy, I just have a really good feeling going into the game. And it's much less about, thinking that Boise State isn't belonging or deserving or a really good team, and much more about just how this team has developed and the opportunity that it sees at hand. And I just, again, to me, it feels like it's all coming together, and that this team this year is going to be able to cash in and bring it home. And I just, with each passing week, I get more and more of that belief that there is something really, really special going on with this team. And, I do think it continues tonight. And one of the reasons, and I've been saying this from day one, from when they hired both Andy Kotelnicki and Tom Allen, Goon, is I think they have big-time coordinators that know how to make the adjustments, use the talent, and I think we saw that against SMU. I think we'll see it tonight. I mentioned earlier, I'm really excited to see what it is Penn State comes out with defensively in terms of the approach and the different looks they give Boise State. I think it's going to be fun. I think there are going to be some things that Boise State just has not seen, both from an athletic standpoint, from opposing defenses, maybe with the possible exception of Oregon this season. And I think, schematically, even I'll be really curious to see that if Penn State can get Boise State, and it's a big F, but if you can get Boise State to third and long, right, get them off schedule, to not allow Jenny to get more than 4 yards or so on the first two downs. How does that change the dynamics here, and what kind of pressure is Penn State able to get to kind of disrupt this Boise State offense? The games within the games, and again, what all does Andy Kotelnicki come up with, with the Tyler Warren package, and just with the offense in general, building off of what we've seen here throughout the season. I think all that stuff is going to be fun, and it's another reason why I really have confidence in what Penn State's going to be able to do.
I did say that they might actually have a Grunkemeyer package this week, which is pretty crazy, because it's like, oh, isn't he redshirting? And I had people call me like, why did they blow his red shirt? It's like, dude, these games don't count. Just so fans out there know that. These games do not actually count towards your red shirt year. So if Grunk has not played 4 games in the regular season, he did not. So he could actually redshirt, but he's still eligible to play all of these games.
Yep.
Which is crazy, and it is what it is. Dude, we might have a 16-game schedule. Is that what I'm thinking? What are we at right now? 12-2?
Yeah.
So it might be a 17-game schedule.
It could, yes, correct.
Wow. Damn, man. Holy crap. Holy jeez, Louise. That's a ton.
Which, just to go back to the argument and why it is so nice to see the playoffs coming about. But, Goon, that was the big argument. Well, one of the big arguments used against the playoffs is you can't have – now, the argument at that time, by the way, when we were first having these debates in the 80s, it was an 11-game schedule. There wasn't a conference championship game. The argument was, well, you can't ask college kids to go play 14 or maybe even in some cases 15 games. Penn State will be playing potentially, or Oregon, 17 games. As you said, that is, okay, so that they can do it. Now, we could argue whether or not that's in the best interest of the long-term health of these players and whether that is asking too much. I think that's still a legitimate debate. That is a long, again, 17 games. If you think about that, Goon, I mean, that is an NFL season, not playoffs, but that's an NFL season. Well, those guys in the NFL, obviously, I mean, that is a full-time job. You're not having to go to school. That is a big ask of these players that played in the conference championship games and had first-round games. I'm trying to think, is there any other team that would have that? Oh, Texas, right? Would have that the scenario. Yeah, so that's 17 games. That is a lot to be asking of a student athlete. That is for sure.
But you know what always used to drive me nuts, Jeff? Used to just drive me crazy when they would use that excuse. So we can't do 14 or 15 games in a year. But yet, 1AA, Division II and Division III did the exact thing. It was not a problem, but they only played 10-game regular seasons. So that's the question: is are schools willing to give up two home games? And that's the big thing. And there you go. Oh wow, goes back to money, Jeff. Imagine that. No way.
Go figure. Oh yeah, well, there's money involved. Yeah, they can play 17 games. We're okay with that. We were just kidding about that player safety concern. All right, we'll take a break here. You are listening to the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead show. We are not at Quaker Steak and Lube. We will be again on Thursday afternoon from 2 to 4, our normal time slot at our normal place. Love Quaker Steak and Lube. We appreciate their support over the years. And again, great place to go down and watch all of this football action along with the NHL as we get into college basketball season. Just a great place to go down and watch sports, enjoy some great food and beverage, and best service in the area. Quaker Steak and Lube, we thank you, and we are coming right back with more on our New Year's Eve edition at a special time. It's the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead show.
Coast into fall with a new Kia from Lion Country Kia. Right now, get a 24 Kia Seltos for 5.25% APR for up to 48 months. A new Sportage plug-in hybrid at 0.9% APR. Check out our 23 Sorrento hybrid for as low as 4.5% APR. And don't forget, all 2023 and 2024 Kias come with a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. Stop in and meet with one of our sales experts today and coast into fall at Lion Country Kia. We want to see you in a Kia.
If you love wings, if you love rings, and all kinds of other tempting things, great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak and Lube.
Get our Best Wings USA, signature sauces, mouth-watering appetizers, or any of our delicious award-winning lube favorites.
Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak and Lube.
I'm the Modelo Recruiter, and I'm looking for fans with good hands and great speed. The ones who stay focused and never miss a play. They go the distance on game day, even when their team is away. I'm always watching, always looking to reward more full-time fans. Because football isn't really football without you.
A lot has changed about State College. One thing that hasn't is W.C. Clark's Coffee Roasters on 234 East Calder Way. 30 different varieties of specialty coffee beans sourced from over 25 countries and roasted with love each morning in Happy Valley for over 45 years. They'll ship their fresh roasted coffee from their doorstep to yours. Order online at statecollegecoffee.com. That's statecollegecoffee.com.
Two of the top names in local printing have combined to serve you better. King Printing and State College has merged with theprinters.com, forming one of the 400 largest printers in America. Combining traditional offset printing and digital workflow techniques, theprinters.com can print, assemble, package, and ship to anywhere in the world, all with the same high quality customers have known and trusted for over 50 years. Buy local and save. Get started today at theprinters.com.
Lusk & Associates Sotheby's International Realty proudly presents the introduction of our new State College office at 314 South Borough Street in State College. At Sotheby's International Realty, we advertise locally, nationally, and internationally, bringing the best of advertising and promotion to each and every one of our properties, big or small. Call now.
With a Timber Kids savings account, you can start to save money, earn prizes, and teach your kids the value of savings. It's easy as 1, 2, 3. Building futures is what we do at TFCU.
You really need to belong to a credit union. You belong at TFCU. Timberland Federal Credit Union. A credit union you can grow with.
WFXS, once again, the Fox, your sports radio.
Broadcasting live, loud and proud from Central PA's Sports Authority. WFXS America.
98.7, the Fox State College. The Goon and Ironhead.
And we are back here on this New Year's Eve morning as we get you ready for a full day of Penn State football coverage. We'll have the Pennsylvania Sports Network, 3 hours of Joe Lednoski from noon to 3, followed by 3 hours of Jed Donahue from 3 to 6, and then Jim Galati and the Keystone Sports Network from 6 to 8. Again, Penn State and Boise State will kick off just after 7:30 this evening in Glendale, Arizona, and Penn State looking to advance to the semifinals in the college football playoffs. There's a lot of interesting storylines. I thought one of the more interesting ones is the outstanding wide receiver for Boise State, who was actually recruited by Tom Allen, and they both talked about the relationship there. Cam Camper, not highly recruited out of high school. The COVID stuff got in the way. And Tom Allen reached out to him and gave him an opportunity at obviously a Big Ten school. And then he had some injuries. Camper did. ACL injury. And then I don't know if he re-aggravated it, but he needed, I guess, another procedure on that knee. It sounded like related to the ACL. And ended up transferring, obviously, to Boise State. Tom Allen comes to Penn State. But when you listen to both of them talk about the other, pretty special relationship there between that player and that coach. And again, a lot of respect. And I will say, the and others in this game, Abdul Carter is getting a lot of attention. Tyler Warren, Nicholas Singleton, and Katron Allen for Penn State. And obviously Ashton Genty is kind of the be-all everything here for Boise State. I do think the and others are worth keeping an eye on. And Cam Camper against that Penn State secondary and cornerbacks, I think is going to be one of those little games within the game to keep an eye on. Now, part of that equation is, again, I think the pressure that Penn State will be able to get, especially if it can get to third and long situations here against Boise State. I'm not sure that Boise State's going to have a lot of opportunities to get the ball downfield to Camper. At least that's the hope from the Penn State side. But there's some, as always with these games, and in today's world of college football with coaches and players now leaving, there's just some interesting little storylines. And I think that's one worth keeping an eye on tonight is, pre or post game, maybe the hugs that Tom Allen and Cam Camper will exchange.
What the hell's going on with Indiana's turf out there? Everybody I know who played there has an ACL injury with him. Michael Penix had a couple. Yeah.
Turf in general, man. We talk about player safety and the importance of it. A lot of lip service given by the NFL and college football. I'm not sure that there's a lot actually being done to truly show regard for players' health.
Jeff, 3 games in the NFL in 10 days is a
don't even.
That's an easy thing, buddy. Hey, but you know what? They gave you a little break this week.
Yeah. Although Cincinnati's playing for its playoff life, and the Steelers trying to just get some momentum now going to the playoffs. That was a brutal 3-game stretch, no doubt, for the Steelers. Your Eagles, however, nice bounce back romp over the Cowboys and setting themselves up pretty nicely here for a nice playoff run.
I mean, honest to God, I got to say this, that like they have 2 losses this year. They lost to Washington last week because Devontae Smith dropped a 3rd down and short, first down guaranteed, kneel out, game over. Saquon Barkley did it at week 3 against Atlanta. They should be 15-1 right now.
Yeah.
I mean, they really should. They had won those games, and those guys had made that catch because it wasn't like the defensive player made a play on either one of them. They just dropped the passes that would have been first downs, and two guys who don't really normally drop passes. So I'm okay with where the Birds are right now. I love where the Birds are. How about Saquon getting 2 Gs? I know we got 15, 20 minutes here, but I guess we can talk about more about it Thursday. But would you play him?
I would not, and my guess is Saquon. Like I don't think this means much to him. My guess is it means more to that offensive line and maybe to Sirianni, just the opportunity for him. Than it means I don't think Saquon's like, oh man, I really want to get that record. I think Saquon's like, I really want to get to the Super Bowl and have a chance to go play and win a championship, because that had to be
just the whole setup of the whole thing. Needing 101 yards to set the all-time rushing record. And by the way, Eric Dickerson can kiss my big fat you-know-what, complaining about, oh, well, he did it in 17 games. Well, Eric, everybody was complaining he did it in 16 because OJ did it in 14. I mean, they always forget about that. They always forget about that part. But, I mean, I wouldn't play him as an executive, as an offensive lineman. I would love that, but I think that they got the 2,000-yard range. I think the offensive line will be happy. I think the offensive line will be happy to have a week off pretty much, because they can't go up or down. They can't win, lose, or draw. They are the number 2 seed no matter what. But how about Dan Campbell? I mean, was that not the most Dan Campbell thing of all time last night? You don't need to play that game last night, and he doesn't care. He went out there and just to beat the brakes off of the Niners. I mean, that's just how he is. That game meant nothing to the Detroit Lions last night, and he still had them out balling, man. Good for him. That's pretty damn cool. But my opinion is Saquon should sit. I think that if you watched that earlier in the year when Sirianni was in his face saying, hey, do you want to go get your personal record for most yards? He says, no, let the young bucks eat. That's the way he is. It's not really about that type of stuff. Yes, it's amazing if he can get it. Being 101 yards, that's not an easy thing to get 100 yards rushing in the NFL. You're going to have to play your offensive line for at least a half to 3 quarters, of which you don't have a bye. There's no more bye weeks anymore. Had the Eagles have a bye in the first round, go for it. No, you got to sit back. The Super Bowl is the ultimate goal, so it is what it is.
Yeah, no,
but it is nice that the NFL gave the Steelers. You know, I guess for the listeners out there, if they're going to know going into that game Saturday night whether they have to win, lose, or draw. You know, they're going to know, right? Right? Because of Baltimore and Cleveland.
Yes. Yeah. If Baltimore wins that, it's AFC North goes.
And Cincinnati doesn't matter.
And if the Ravens can't take care of the Browns with the way Cleveland is limping to the end of the season here, I don't think that's going to be any problem.
I'm in a Browns house. I'm in a Cleveland Browns house.
Yeah, they're. Oh.
They didn't even watch the game on Sunday.
Yeah,
that's how bad it is.
Not good in Cleveland. I feel like that's not the first time we've said that, Goon.
No, it's not. Multiple occasions.
Real quickly from the comment board, not going anywhere. Work through the adversity. Lock the F in. Oh yeah, you got to lock the fun in for sure. That's a big spirit checking in. The Deer Horse says Penn State by a bunch today, enjoying the ride. Happy New Year, fellas. Happy New Year.
By the way, where did you finish your fantasy?
Did not finish last. Finished
great success, Jeffrey. Great success.
Yeah, I won the last place game, so I got that going for me. The Deer Horse retiring his commish. Maybe I just now am putting this together. He is retiring as our fantasy football commissioner, in all likelihood to take over as commissioner of college football.
Saban. We want the horse. Screw Saban.
Absolutely. I am looking forward to the horse. He did a great job as commissioner of our fantasy league. I have no doubt he'll do a great job as commissioner of college football. Horse, we wish you the best of luck in your new endeavor as commissioner of college football. Sam, checking in. Happy New Year, guys. We are Penn State. Sam, Happy New Year to you. Thanks for all of your support over the years. Always good to see you. Aaron checks in. All gas, no brakes. Lions by 50. Like that call. And Rodney checks in. Good morning, gentlemen. Good morning, Rodney. Thank you for all of your help. That's Rodney Brungard, who helped us with Center County Red Zone each of the last 2 years, covering Penns Valley. Good morning, Rodney. Enjoy the game tonight. Should be a fun one. Dear Goon, I really do. I like Penn State a whole lot in this one for all of the reasons that we've talked about. I just think it's a good matchup for Penn State. And it's one of those things where I'm sure, like, anytime anybody's picking against Boise State, they're using it as, which is the right thing to do. If you're Boise State, you're like, yeah, all right, just respect us some more. We'll show you. Again, I think that's a very good team. I think it's a very good coach. I think Ashton Jeanty is the best running back in college football. I think Nicholas Singleton's pretty darn close, and I think Katron Allen's pretty darn close. And I think Penn State actually has a better offensive line. I think Penn State's defensive line is super excited about the challenge here tonight. And I really think this Penn State team is dialed in, Goon. I truly believe that this team has a real shot at winning the whole thing this year. I think Penn State not only will get to the semifinals, I think Penn State, whether it's Georgia or Notre Dame, I think Penn State will find its way into the national championship game. And then, we'll kind of see at that point. We'll talk about the matchups and a little more. I really think this team is on a mission right now. I think this team has finally built the depth that you need to have, and I think we've seen that. Again, KJ Winston goes down early. Penn State's been fine. Anthony Donko goes down late at a key spot, and I would argue, Goon, that he was the best offensive lineman Penn State had throughout the season. I think he was the most dominant, put it that way. He goes down, and Nolan Rucci, as we've talked about, stepped up in a big, big way. I really like Penn State tonight. I think Boise State may hang around a while. I think Boise State will come out with a lot of fire, a lot of energy early. I just think over 4 quarters, Penn State wears them down a bit, and I have it the Nittany Lions winning at 34-17 over the Broncos.
Couldn't agree with you more about this team. Let me get to my prediction here. Sorry. It's like that quiet storm that these guys have. I mean, we're talking about Nick Dawkins being that quiet guy and this and that. Well, who's the best player in the offense right now is Tyler Warren, and he's the quietest guy They call him Psycho T because they don't know what the hell he turns into on the football field. I mean, there's complete psychos in him and Dawkins, because how they transform on game day of like being these like cool, calm, and collected guys to just maniacs out there. And Tyler Warren they're going to have to stop him again. I mean, I don't think I need to say what I want to, you know what I'm going to say, and that is it starts up front. We can run the ball. It opens up the pass game for Aller, gives him some relaxation back there. It gives our offensive line a lot of confidence to go out there, take the game over. We did that at SMU in the second quarter. We took the ball to the 30-yard line and just went on a methodical drive down the field and just pounded it, and took SMU's soul. So we have to do that to Boise State tonight, and that is impose our will on them. Run the ball, throw the ball when needed, and obviously keep their offense off the field. And when they are on the field, don't let Gentry run all over us. He will break some runs. There's no doubt about it. He's that good. Yep. Our defense has got to have that short memory. Like, okay, well, keep him out of the end zone. I noticed that about our defense, and that is they have made a couple nice goal line stands and red zone stands, that type of thing against SMU, and that should and will continue tonight. And it's going to pay instant benefits keeping them off the scoreboard and their offense off the field. So, again, I said it earlier, whoever has more rushing yards in this game wins this game. But I got Penn State 38-16. I really do. I think that Penn State is well prepared for this game. They are mentally prepared for this game, physically ready to play this game. Boise State hasn't played in 2 or 3 weeks, so there might be that little lull that they may have in between long layoffs. So jump on them early. Again, our Achilles heel is coming out slow. We have to avoid that. And if we do, the defense needs to step up like they did against SMU, make a couple big plays, get the fans all fired up and the team all fired up. You heard anything about Arizona from any of your peoples? I have heard lots of Boise fans there. A lot of Boise fans.
Yeah, no question. Boise traveled extremely well and from all accounts was outnumbering the Penn State fans out there. I don't think that's as big of a deal with this. I mean, Penn State will show up. I don't think it's going to be like a home game environment here for Boise State. I think it'll be more, it might be a 60-40 Boise favored crowd, but I don't think the crowd is going to be much of a factor in this game tonight. And again, I just think over 4 quarters, Penn State is the more talented team, and I think up front they'll be able to take control as the game wears on. But again, we'll find out. Boise State has a chance to prove itself and to prove all of the doubters, including us, wrong, and we'll see how it plays out. Goon, with the other games, Texas, Arizona State, to me, it's been chalk, obviously, so far. The favored teams have won everything in the first round. Yeah, and I think most are expecting it to be largely chalk in the second round. I've seen a couple of folks predicting Ohio State to win, but not many. Seen a few folks predicting Boise State, not many. And I've seen, Notre Dame, Georgia seems to be the one, especially with, the quarterback situation with Georgia. And that seems to be the one more than any other where people are like, yeah, I can definitely see Notre Dame winning that. I think this Texas-Arizona State game, Goon, I really think Arizona State has a puncher's chance here. I think this is a team that has been playing better football than maybe people realize. And coming on as the season progressed, if they can keep it close, and that's a big if, I will grant you, but if they can keep it close going into the fourth quarter, I think this Texas team has a penchant for tightening up and not just kind of going for it if it's in uncomfortable situations. We'll see. I've been wrong plenty of times. I kind of have a feeling Arizona State's going to pull the upset in that one. And
that's a big upset right there, buddy.
It is. Because Texas, I think most have Texas going to the championship.
Well, we have to worry about a run game from Boise State. I mean, Texas has got to worry about a rolling ball of knives out there in Scatterboo. He's a big kid who is very physical, and they better come to play, or he's going to beat the crap out of them.
Yeah,
it'll be. Said,
yep.
With that said,
interesting. Go ahead.
I think Texas takes that. I think Texas takes that game for sure, in my opinion. But
the line matchup, I do think favors Texas going in. Yeah. But I don't know. I just have a feeling with Arizona State. We'll see. I do think Georgia and Notre Dame is going to be a terrific game. I think Notre Dame does win it. I think Notre Dame has just been playing lights out down the stretch here, and I think they keep it rolling. I think they find a way to win that game, and I actually think Ohio State beats Oregon good. I think again that game is going to be a coin toss, and it'll go right down to the wire. I just think Ohio State. I was curious to see how they'd come out after the Michigan loss. And I was very, very impressed. I think that's a team that is kind of dialed in here as well. And I kind of think we might see that Ohio State-Penn State rematch in the national title game.
I got you. I'm going to go with the SEC and the Big Ten to the Final Four, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. So you have Georgia taking care of business with Notre Dame.
Texas and Buckeyes.
Yeah. We'll see. It's going to be fun. And the fact that we just have, this 12-team format and now down to the quarterfinals to be able to watch is going to be just something that, as college football fans, we should all be grateful for. Thank you, albeit, 30, 40 years too late, but thank you for finally, getting it done. Goon, Happy New Year, my man.
You too, my brother. I will see you too Thursday.
That sounds good. Yes, we'll be back at our normal stomping grounds at Quaker Steak and Lube on Thursday afternoon from 2 to 4 to talk all about the Final Four in college football and the matchups. We'll be talking about that. One final comment, Rodney. I agree, Jeff. The crowd can be a factor, but if Penn State comes out and plays their game on both sides of the ball, there shouldn't be a problem. Penn State 28-17. You know my predictions. Yeah, I'm right there with you, Rodney. So not good news for Penn State that we're both the same mindset here and calling for the Penn State victory. But I feel good about this one. Folks, Joe Lednowski and the Pennsylvania Sports Network is coming up next. 6 hours of Pennsylvania Sports Network with Joe and then Jed Donahue. So do not go anywhere. Again, Happy New Year, Goon. Happy New Year to all of you. We'll talk to you again on Thursday. Enjoy all of the football today, and especially the Fiesta Bowl win by Penn State over Boise State. Until Thursday, be good and be safe.
Coast into fall with a new Kia from Lion Country Kia. Right now, get a 24 Kia Seltos for 5.25% APR for up to 48 months. A new Sportage plug-in hybrid at 0.9% APR. Check out our 23 Sorrento hybrid for as low as 4.5% APR. And don't forget, all 2023 and 2024 Kias come with a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. Stop in and meet with one of our sales experts today and coast into fall at Lion Country Kia. We want to see you in a Kia.